So, welcome back, everybody, to another Q&A webinar. So as most of you guys do know, we do have the peer review webinars. Honestly, I don't know if I'm going to be doing the peer review webinars anymore, just because I want to make it as beneficial as possible in terms of the ongoing education to everybody. So what I'm going to try and decide to do instead, which is most likely what I'm going to do, is every Wednesday, instead of having a peer review webinar, we're going to have a psychology only webinar after the breakdowns, because again, trading is pretty much made up of about 80% of trading psychology. Technical analysis really isn't the major problem in trading. As you guys saw, I broke down like yesterday, two different setups that could potentially happen here on gold. It's all down to technical analysis, but maintaining your psychology as well. So what we'll do is normal. We'll have our regular chart breakdown, and then we'll get into the Q&A portion. Really, again, I would like to stick to psychology-focused topics. So you guys, if you have any technical or questions about the charts or the markups, let's get that done right after the breakdown. Then we'll get into the psychology questions. So, gold will have
what did bro?
That's good, bro. So, gold, what happened last night is actually very interesting. It was not something that I was expecting, but it's part of technical analysis. Things happen. You have to change your analysis, and you have to adapt to the new market conditions. Especially when we do webinars so close to like Asian session, and there's still X amount of hours until the London session. Things could definitely change. So, if we look at gold over the last few days, what we could see with prices initially had a move up, which it rejected and came back down, and then tried to actually have a move lower, and price tried to push under support, but there was obviously buying pressure, which caused price to actually trade higher. So one thing I had said yesterday was that if price maintains above this area, then most likely we're going to look to go long back into 1813. So it did that very, very well. Now, yesterday, if we look at gold, how you could have taken advantage of this opportunity was literally so simple, right? Notice here we have support. We have resistance all throughout this range as well, but we have to keep in mind this is an overall zone. Once price actually had this big rejection to the downside here, that was the first signs that we could potentially see price go in the opposite direction and continue to actually trade higher. Once price actually formed this engulfing candlestick here, that was the buy entry where you could have easily set yourself up with a long position here, a stop loss under that low, a take profit at this area. Maybe even to be more generous, you could have put a stop loss over here for about 58 pips and a target of 148 pips, and you'd still have the trade floating. Now, I've been wanting to say that, I mainly want to focus on commodities, but really for some reason, I've really mainly been trading GJ. So as of tonight, I'm going to be kind of moving away and shifting away from GJ, and again, just focusing on gold and silver, because this trade would have been so easy for me to caught. Last night, I actually did take a losing position on GJ for an $11,000 loss, which is normal. It's fine. Losses are just part of the game. It's very hard to trade these very choppy conditions at times, and it is what it is. It's part of the game. I follow my rules. I follow my plan. And that's what's more important. So anyways, when it comes down to gold tonight, if we pay attention to the 4-hour time frame, what we could see market structure doing as of right now is actually forming a 3-leg extension on this 4-hour time frame. So we could see price continue to make higher highs and higher lows, right? If we go down to the hour time frame, what we see over here is price actually break above these highs. And as of right now, price is actually maintaining itself above these highs. So as long as price can actually maintain itself above these highs here, I'm going to look obviously for price to go to 1813, which will then have to wait and see what happens. Only concern to really look to go long would be yesterday's previous daily candlestick. Now, yesterday's daily candlestick didn't close above the previous day's high, but it did break above. So definitely buyers are in the market in this situation, but they're not very strong. So we definitely could see a big bearish candlestick kind of come down and engulf the last 2 days of movement, because this isn't really strong buying movement that I would like to see from this level. So we can actually expect gold to go down. Now, what we could actually do if we're going to look for gold to go short is very, very simple. We wait for the break of this 30-minute support, wait for the retest, wait for price to actually hold as resistance, and then look for price to come down into 1797. But that's what I would look for if I would look to actually go short. We have to wait and see how things play out over the next few hours. The possibility for price to go long is still there. Only thing is, this isn't really an area I would like to take a long position from, because we could get trapped in something like this where we have a big move to the downside and a big move right back up. So I want to wait this one out and see what price does. And again, if you just pay attention to like previous market structure and you go on the daily time frame, right, what we have all throughout this range over here is our previous daily level of structure, this range up here, right? So price is kind of doing something like this right now. So price did pretty much this, right? And price is pulled back to this area over here. So we could see, again, price actually come back down into this area over here. This could be the possible first leg in a bearish condition, in a bearish trending market. The possibility is definitely there, especially with how the last week closed. That's the possibility is still there. Again, I would really like to see how gold plays out over the next few hours. It's definitely going to be something that isn't very simple, but it's not very complicated. Again, if price breaks this area and we have a confirmation of a rejection and we see price doing something like this, most likely we're going to come back down into this area here. I wouldn't expect price to break under this area and then go right back up to 1813, because I would like to see it maintain above those highs. Now, obviously, you have, the highest close on the 4-hour time frame being here. So I want to make this an overall zone. So let's just say this is the entire zone here. And we know if price overall breaks under this point here, then most likely we're going to see it continue to trade lower. So I'd want to wait and see, how price actually does form over the next few hours. Silver, again, very choppy conditions. Same thing with GJ. But silver is definitely a lot clearer of a buy position for me. Now, the daily time frame is not really something that is too nice to actually look to take any trade, really, because you have a big move up, then you have this huge doji candlestick where you have a move down, you have a move up. So not really the nicest type of condition to normally take a position from. The one thing that I am looking to actually take a trade from silver is if we go down to this 4-hour time frame, what we see is price currently trading above this support zone, and we see price reject here, and now price is rejecting here. So if this 4-hour candlestick can actually close engulfing, most likely we could look to take a buy, probably back up into this area here, possibly even higher. Mainly, I want to say, let's see what happens with price when it comes into this area, because obviously over the last few days, price has been rejecting that area. But again, it raises a question, okay, well, if, we take a position from this area, what's going to be the risk to reward? So I really want to wait the pairs out. I don't think there's anything really to even do right now, but I would look for silver to actually come back into this area where we could then potentially look to see what happens with price. I don't want to say go short from this area. I don't want to say go long from this area. But again, it comes down to the basic principle of, okay, well, if price breaks this area, let's just wait for that retest. And if price can actually retest and reject, we'll look to buy it. Very, again, simple concepts. Only problem is that gold and silver, since they're both commodities, do move together fairly well. So it's kind of like, well, if silver is going to go up, then what's going to happen with the price of gold? Because over here we could, like I said, gold could continue to go up as long as I would like to see it maintain above this previous resistance level. So I would like to wait and see what happens with price over the next few hours. I don't want to make a real decision as of right now. Like I said previously, silver does look like a very nice long position, just because of the way these last 4-hour candlesticks have been forming around this area with these very big rejections to the downside. What we can also see is price attempting to lower and lower. Everybody's mic real quick. And then we starting to actually see kind of a transition here where price is doing this. So initially on this 4-hour candlestick, what we could see with these wicks is price is doing lower lows, but then we see price actually slowly start to transition, kind of like if the sellers are losing steam for price to continue to go down. Now with GJ was definitely something that's a little bit tricky last night because it gave us a very, very clean sell signal right here. But once I saw price actually tap into this 21 SMA and price pull right back it was kind of like, okay, well, if prices continue to go down from this area, most likely we're just going to end up going back up. So I did end up taking a loss. My stop loss did get hit by this 4-hour candlestick here because I did go short after I saw a 30-minute engulfing candlestick in this area up here. And then price kind of just continued to trade higher. So when it comes down to GJ, if we pay attention to this daily time frame again, it's very odd because typically when we don't see price, close above these areas, because buyers are clearly trying to push price higher, but price keeps failing to close above this area here. We could see GJ go down again. I don't want to be stuck on a short bias, but the way price is actually forming right now in this 4-hour time frame is I definitely do see GJ going above. So I want to wait for price to actually break above, look for that retest, and look for price to come back up into this range over here. So that's what I'm going to actually wait for GJ if I even actually trade tonight. Again, I would like to see price break above, pull back, retest, and we'll look to take a position from there, especially that price is still maintaining this kind of higher high, higher low market structure on this 4-hour time frame, right? We could definitely see price actually continue to trade higher, and then we'll kind of wait and see what happens. We do have this level of structure here, so clearly there is a struggle to actually break above this area. So again, I want to be a little bit more conservative now. I've already taken a loss on GJ on a short. I would like to see price break above, retest, and then we'll look to take price higher from there. So anyways, that was the breakdown for you guys. If you guys have any questions on the breakdown, let me know now, because I really want to get into the psychology questions of these webinars. Again, I want to keep this.
I have a psychology question. So in the past 2 days, how have you felt trading? Because it's been, very choppy.
Really, I try and maintain myself when, markets are actually choppy. Again, it just comes down to the same thing. Like, I got to stick to my stop loss. I got to wait for my entry points. But price isn't really just going to, I'm not going to look for these way bigger moves, because I could have potentially closed here in this area. My entry was around this area over here. I could have closed down here for profit. I could have closed down there for a profit as well. But I'm looking for that overall 2-to-1 risk reward ratio. So it's been a little bit more difficult to be able to want to actually hold my positions for longer, because look how unattractive it is to trade something where you have a big move to the downside and then a move right back up, and it goes past my entry point. So in times like this, I definitely want to be more conservative. So that's what I'm going to be switching my approach to, instead of taking more aggressive positions until things actually start to clear up here on either gold, silver, or GJ.
So the reason I asked too is because GJ has been kind of confusing, and gold has also been kind of crazy looking. So that's why the reason I asked, psychology wise, I've been staying out of the market, because I think I'm looking for longs up to 1813, and then all of a sudden it breaks back below, you know what I'm saying? So.
Yeah, there's not always going to be times where it's kind of price is going to go right up to 1813. We could again see price actually pull back and then continue in that area, where we could then, look to take advantage of this minor pullback and, look for some form of a scalp or some form of an intraday position. Because at the end of the day, for price to move to this point, it's still 70 pips, right? Setups just aren't as clean because price, again, look at this right here. Right, look at how big that was, right? So even if you would have made an entry point around this area over here, and you would have seen you're up in profit 80 pips, and now you're almost at break even, practically you're in profit only 8 pips, right? It's going to be very difficult for you to actually hold that position. But again, it just comes down to if you would have been able to take that gold buy, it just comes down to sticking to your overall analysis. If your target's 1813, then that's what you have to stick to.
Yeah. And then one last question too. When it comes to GJ, I was looking for longs into that area that you have at 155, 500. Yeah. But then it was in the last day, it was hitting that 154, 700 with that bearish engulfing candle, kind of like a little to the left where you were, to the left, down a little bit.
This one?
Yeah. So right below your 154.750 level. So there was that bearish engulfing candlestick there, and I'm sorry, a little to the right. Yeah, right there, that bearish engulfing candlestick. So it's been a little confusing with GJ too, because that gave that bearish engulfing signal after it closed below that level there, and it closed below the lowest low of that previous candlestick, but then it went right back up. So I got stopped out there too.
Yeah, I know.
So I just been staying out of the market because I just don't like how it looks right now.
And that's perfectly fine. You know, if you can't read price very well and you don't know what setups to look for, it's best to stay out of the market anyways, because there's no point of putting risk behind those types of trades.
Yeah. Thank you, bro.
Yeah, only with time you'll be able to know how to trade, you know, different market conditions. You actually have to adapt.
So have you been though? Like, have you been trading these couple days or?
I have. So with GJ, like last night, I ended up taking a loss. I had taken a big gold position. I haven't traded too much because I caught a majority of this big move here, which left me very satisfied with the trade. So I haven't been like too eager to get back into the markets. So I have been trading, but I haven't been trading taking a position every single day, at least.
Okay. And do you typically trade like the first week or like of the month? I feel like the first weeks of the month are kind of choppy.
Yeah, because you have NFPs, which could be another reason as to why, like, you know, the markets are very choppy right now. But yeah, I do. I just trade on NFP day.
Got you. Thank you, Raul.
What's good, bro?
What's up, bro? I got a quick question.
Yeah.
Would you say that is true? Like, if you're trying to swing something, say like a daily time frame, like, and you trying to get one of those targets, would you say it's true that your lot size would have to be like more conservative? Like, it can't be that big?
Yeah, because your stop loss has to go congruent with the daily time frame, which is going to be in turn a bigger stop loss, which in turn is going to be a smaller lot size.
I bet.
Yeah.
Yo, Ro, this isn't like a question about like charge, but it's like, okay, let's say for example, last night I wanted to take a gold sell position and I took it, but let's say like we weren't even in session and I had already had like a sell confirmation on the 30-minute, and then we weren't in session, so I didn't want to take the trade. But what do you recommend in that sense, like in the sense that like you're taking trades before session? How long do you wait, or how what's like the time that you like take between like before session starts to like put in a trade?
Well, I mean, let's just take this as an example. What happened right when session opened and what happened literally 30 minutes before session?
Price right after I put in my position, price after I saw my entry, it started going in profit. So then I left it there. I went to sleep like around like 5 and it was still in profit. And then I got up like at 10 and it just, I don't know, gold flew. So I got stopped out completely.
Yeah, well, if you see literally 30 minutes before session actually opened up, there was a big fake out to the downside. And then session gave you that first 30 minutes of session gave you that buy signal, and then price continued to go up with session.
Yeah, I see. I already like reviewed today about like what I did wrong last night, and I just, in a sense, like as a trader, you're not looking to trade every day, right?
No, I'm looking to trade just the setups.
When you're looking for a setup, exactly. Yeah. So that's I guess I've been trading for like a year and a half, so I'm like trying like still to get that habit out where it's like you gotta trade every day, you gotta trade every day. No. You gotta wait for the setup.
Yeah, the problem with trading is, as a trader, if you're not like on the charts and if you're not trading, personally, when it comes down to me, I can feel very unproductive, which is why I like to have multiple businesses, which is, you know, why I do have multiple businesses, so I can kind of distract myself from not feeling unproductive. Because I hate feeling like I'm not doing shit all day, right? I have to be doing something. And typically,
Yeah, I guess.
yeah, and typically when you feel that way, you're going to be inclined to get into the market, especially that, you have 24-hour access. The market's open 24/5, right? It's very hard to fight that. So you got to find
Yeah,
something that you can
it
follow.
really is, and I guess it's just a psychological thing at that point. You gotta just go through it and try to beat it.
Yeah, basically.
All right, man. Thank you.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Ro, I got a question.
Yeah.
So basically, I got a question for that. What you just say. So say you just started trading, right?
Okay.
And you feel you're a very driven person, but you just started trading, and they always say focus on one thing and put your all in one thing. But as a very driven person, you're not seeing your setups every day. Do you recommend having multiple businesses, or should you just focus on one thing and go all in one thing?
The thing is, I don't want to say like you want to do everything, because then, you'll be average at everything instead of being really good at one thing. You definitely want to focus your time and energy into trading. So, go read a book about trading, back test, trading, right? But you don't want to rely on trading to be your only source of income, because trading income can be very volatile. Like I said, when it comes down to trading, you could be negative for a month, or you could be negative for the span of a quarter, and that's 2-3 months. Right. So what are you going to do when your trading account is actually negative for that quarter? How are you going to be able to pay your bills, et cetera, right? And especially when you're only relying on your trading income to actually pay for your expenses, that's when you're going to put more pressure to your trading, and you're going to make bad and negative decisions that can harm your trading account. So you definitely want to have at least, another business that's covering your expenses. And you can just kind of focus on your trading income and focus on, not being too reliant on your trading income. So you can definitely have a more like consistent flow with your trading profits and everything else. So you don't have that added pressure onto yourself. When you have added pressure in terms of trading, it makes trading a lot more difficult, and trading is already as difficult as it possibly could be.
So have them other businesses that's getting the other stream of income, especially as a novice, right?
Yeah, for sure, especially as a novice. And
do you think? Okay.
No, go on.
Do you think having that help with your psychology too, a lot with trading?
What, having other sources of income?
Yeah, from other businesses, but not 100%. From your job.
100%.
All right. Thank you, man.
Yeah, bro, no problem. Anybody else got any other questions?
Yeah, I have a question about when you first started and you had minimal money. How did you not care so much about the money being lost with risk? I know there's risk in trading, but not saying I'm trying to go off of what you did, but what did you do to kind of feel like, I know I'm risking this amount of money per trade, and to just not care too much about it?
Honestly, my entire life, I was taught that without risk, there isn't going to be any reward. And you got to remember, when I first started trading, I was 17 years old. I was 17, 18 years old. I was still living with my parents, right? I didn't have any real responsibilities in terms of, having to pay for bills or, being reliant on anything. So if I lost the money, it's like, okay, well, I guess I'm not going to go out with my friends for, the next few days, for the next few weeks until I could recuperate from that. So I had no problem whatsoever putting that risk on the table, because I didn't have any responsibilities like I do now, which could be a pro and it could be a con, because, if I would put, $5,000 in a trading account, I could blow it and kind of be like, okay, well, now what? You know what I mean? Versus if I put $100,000 in a trading account, and let's just say I end up blowing it, it's like, damn, I could have paid my mortgage for the year. I could have paid for the SVJ for the next 10 months. There's that added pressure now that I have all these other responsibilities. Back then, I didn't have that added pressure. And I'm very fortunate to be in a position where my family supported me a lot. My biggest supporter was my dad on top of that. And I had a business that he helped me start up at that time, which was producing me something maybe $5,000. I was cash flowing every single month from that business. It wasn't a lot, but I mean, at 17 years old, right? $5,000 is a shit ton of money. So I was just kind of reinvesting all of that as much as I can, and just doing anything possible to learn how to actually trade and be successful in this industry, because I knew that if I blow 120 grand my first year trading, eventually when I do become consistently profitable, that money I'll make back plus more, right? So
Yeah.
it's different from the situation that I was back then versus the situation that I'm in now. Obviously, let's just say like I had my other businesses and I lived the life that I currently live, I would be very protective of the capital that I put into my trading account right now, because I have so much more responsibilities, right? But it's something that, again, when you make a deposit into your trading account, I wouldn't go in with the expectation of losing or not losing. I wouldn't go in with the expectation of this is going to be the trading account that brings me to the next level. I would just kind of look at it as like, okay, well, let's kind of see what happens. This is money that I'm actually able to lose here. And if I lose it, it's part of the learning process. Let's see why I lost that money. Let's learn from my mistakes and look to improve next time, so I can avoid making those mistakes and blowing the account. Which, if you're risking 1 or 2%, it should take you a decent amount of time to lose all of that money.
Yeah, I got you. And like, thank you for that. And like, do you have like monthly goals, like
No,
10% per month?
I would say you always want to go with the flow, because like, let's say you hit your monthly goal in the first week, it's kind of like, okay, so what now? Like, you're going to be in a psychological state. So it's like, do I stop trading? Should I continue? You're going to be in a very weird spot. Unless your 10% is, $200,000, then it's kind of like, oh, fuck that. Why are you going to trade for 200 grand? But personally, I don't, because I don't like to put a cap on myself. Because if you put a monthly goal, you put a cap on yourself. Like, let's say I had a monthly goal, and let's use the example of the FTMO account, right? So it was a 300K FTMO account, and I had made 10%. I don't know, probably within the first few days, right? Because I had made an overall, I think it was above a 50% return in 30 days, right? I would have completely limited myself from making, 100 grand. I would have only made $30,000 versus bringing the account all the way up to $140,000, right? So I don't really necessarily believe in having goals, because then, what if it's 2 days from the trading, it's 2 days from hitting your goal, and the month is about to end, and you still have like 4 or 5% to hit your goal, right? It's going to kind of almost like put that pressure on you that you need to meet your goal. And I don't really necessarily believe in having goals for trading. I always say kind of just go with the flow.
Okay. And I believe that too. Like, I feel like with trading, I don't feel like there should be specific goals, because at the end, if you don't meet it, you start rushing yourself. And I feel like that's what I start to do.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Did you ever struggle in the beginning with like doing your analysis and then doubting your analysis and not entering, and then watching it go in your in what you predicted? I guess not the right word, but in what you predicted.
So pretty much like you're failing to execute, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's just caused by, you're scared of losing money. I personally never went through that issue. If anything, I took too many trades. But in that case, you just have to lower your position size to literally as small as you possibly can, and whatever you have to start doing to build that confidence. So, trade demo if you want to start, or even do just the minimum lot size, which is 0.01. But anything, you have to start taking action on your analysis, especially if you see it actually play out. You plan the trade, you see price doing exactly what you planned for, you have your entry signal, but you still don't take the position, right? And then you see your trade go in your favor and it would have hit your target. Like, damn, I kind of just missed out on this entire move. I would have made X amount, right? You have to start actually executing. And, to build your confidence, whatever you have to do, just literally enter the bare minimum lot size, 0.01.
Yeah, I love that. You said, and that will build your confidence. So that's key. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, for sure. No
Wait,
problem.
wait, wait. Raul, I got one more quick question.
Good, bro.
You remember how you said like you would lower like your lot size on like a swing trade?
Yeah.
So like what would be like the quickest way to like go about getting because I think I have a patience issue sometimes. I don't know, I'm figuring it out. But you know those swing moves, they could take a little minute to happen.
For sure.
And if you got a lot on it that you're not satisfied with, like by the time the whole move is done, I'd be like, damn, I should have put more. So like not saying that I'm rushing it, but like what would be the quickest way to like try to be like a swing trader and like just get bread though? Because sometimes like if I go too low, I'm not gonna be like happy with the profits, even though I want to trade. But if I go too high, then my execution start getting messed up and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, it's about finding a balance. But I mean, that's a problem because there is no way to rush into swing trading. You have to have the patience. Again, you can always treat your trading account like an active investment where, let's say, you're making X amount of dollars every single month and you have, I don't know, X amount of dollars in your trading account. As you're trading on your account, you're consistently allocating and depositing money into your trading account every single month until 5 months go down the line and you see you have an extra, I don't know, I'm going to throw a random number out there, $15,000 that you deposited into your trading account, whatever it might be. Again, everybody's financial situation is very different. You could, again, always look to trade on a prop firm and then have that money from those profits be reinvested into your own personal trading account to grow it. Because again, bigger lot size simply just comes with a bigger trading account. Yeah, and you don't want to rush that process because again, when you try to rush that process, things tend to get sloppy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yo, I have a question. So, do you pay attention to the spreads before you enter a trade or no?
No, because typically, like, that's something that's already set, when you open up your brokerage account. When you go to actually enter your broker account, you have typically a broker will offer you like a low spread, a medium spread, and a high spread. But again, if you want like low raw ECN spreads, you're going to pay for that through higher commissions. So, it's.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Hey, Ryu. Yeah, because I was looking at like when you enter here, like there's little numbers of spreads that just keep changing, they just go crazy. I didn't know if
you've been asked.
Hey Ryu, so I got let into your meeting a bit late, and I was wondering what was your analysis like for gold?
I mean, the webinar is about to end in like 3 minutes, but basically what you could rewatch the video. The other one was already posted in the course. Pretty much what I said was as long as gold pretty much maintains above this area, we'll look to buy it up into 1813. Once it starts to break under this hourly 30-minute support, we'll look to sell it back down to 1797, which is pretty much this box here.
Okay, thanks much.
Yeah.
Yo, Raul, do you know when the payment service for FMS will be back up and running?
I have no idea. They're really doing their best to try and bring it back up.
All right, thanks, bro.
I don't want to tell you guys like a specific date and then it not be here. It should be up very soon though. Hopefully, I want to say by the end of this week.
Thank you, bro.
Yeah.
Yo, Raul.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Actually, you go ahead first.
It was not a psychology question, but I was just wondering, how long did it take for you to get profitable?
I mean, everybody's different. Typically, I saw that I was making more money than I was losing around like 2.5 year mark around there.
All right, cool. Thanks.
Yeah.
Yo, Raul, are you still testing out like a new broker or
I was on one and I didn't like how high the commissions were, so now I'm looking for another one.
I see.
Yeah.
Yo, your profitability, was it because you got so many different like strategies in your head or trying to figure things out?
Not really. I always just kind of focused on like price action. My profitability mainly came on focusing on risk to reward.
Okay.
Because
it wasn't on specific strategy that you're trying to focus on.
No, because again,
okay,
like, you can have a strategy that only wins 30% of the time and still be profitable.
Okay.
Yeah. But anyways, the webinar is going to end in like a minute here. So thank you guys for coming on. I appreciate it. I do apologize for the delay. There's some things that I had to handle. Yeah, so I'm going to upload this webinar right now to the course for those of you who maybe got in late.